What you just taught me right now, that's going to be the first thing I ask myself every single time.
Please do.
That's
You're
a
terrified
personal
of
one.
snakes?
Dude.
Well, guess what?
No.
Hello and welcome to Uncut, live from our studio in Dubai. The audio and visual podcast show that gives you exclusive scoop on our guests and hot topics including some of your favorite celebrities. And now, let the fun begin. Here's your host, S1.
What's up, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. Well. Let's start with today being an awesome day. Great weather in Dubai right now. We have an awesome guy all the way from Los Angeles who brought good weather with him, I guess. YouTube personality, entrepreneur, real estate investor, car lover, and vlogger, Alejandro, aka Salomondrin. How are you, bro?
Dude, I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming.
By the way, what an intro. I really feel like I've done something with my life now.
You have.
Thank you. Thank
How's
you.
life?
Life is, I couldn't complain, you know. It couldn't be any better.
Yeah.
Like you said, the weather in Dubai has been so good to us right now.
I can't believe it. You came really at the perfect time because normally, weather is not that good. Like it's hot
It's really
in
hot.
summer.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's prime time.
Yes.
And you're here.
It feels right. It just feels right. I'm telling
Right?
you. And always like good weather puts you in a great mood, you know?
Of course.
Great vibes.
Great vibes. How do you feel like Dubai has been treating you so far?
Amazing. I just can't. The last time I was here, I think it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I had a great time, but it felt like it was not as finished as it is right now.
Oh, wow.
It feels like whole now, like the city. I was driving through the streets, and I know you guys have an expo coming up right now,
Yes,
right? Which is going to be very important.
Very.
And you guys are rushing to get some stuff done.
Exactly.
But now we were going through the main avenues where you see all the dealerships and whatnot. Now it feels like it's finished. It feels, I don't know how to say it. It feels so clean.
It feels like a new city every time you come, right?
Yeah. There's so much construction always going on. You guys have the most amazing buildings I've ever seen in my life.
True.
And as a fan of architecture and real estate just in general, my God, the jealousy is flowing through my veins.
I need to know, would you invest in Dubai? Have you invested yet?
So I have not invested yet. I would invest in Dubai, but like always, I always tell people, you got to live in a place for you to understand exactly where the growth is, right?
Because where and what area?
That's right. Because, you can tell me this is the greatest area ever, but I no disrespect to anyone,
course.
but what do you know about development goes? Like that could be the best area because you're going out every night there and you're having a great time and a restaurant, whatever it is.
True.
You need to know where the growth is, and that's what really helped me out when I was in LA and I decided I'm going to buy my first property. It was a gamble towards the future. It was not the now, the then. It was like I see this in years becoming something. So I would love to be here for a few years and just
then
really
explore.
Yeah, of course. But that's the way to do it. You got to spend some time wherever you're putting your money down.
I agree. Are you here with your wife?
I'm here. No, I brought my friend Sergio and my cinematographer and editor.
Okay, nice.
And I think he's giving a conference right now somewhere here. And he's terrified, by the way.
Are you serious?
Terrified. He's like, I'm not good at public speaking. And he's just like shaking. So, hey, good luck to you, Sergio.
There's always a first, buddy.
But I do want to bring my wife. I mean, especially to the hotel that we're staying at right now. We're staying at the 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Amazing hotel.
It's a cool vibe, right? It's a vibey place.
Yeah. The rooftop is amazing.
Beautiful.
So as soon as I got there, I was like, I need to bring Belen, my wife, here because she would enjoy the crap out of it.
You should next time.
You should.
Don't be selfish. You got to enjoy these things together as a couple.
I agree. I 100% agree.
What is a must do for you on this trip? Like when you say I come to Dubai, I must do this, must see that.
You know what? Obviously, the car thing is a big thing for me.
Yes.
Because I adore cars. I love cars. You guys have the craziest of the craziest. And I don't mean just like the most expensive. I mean the craziest of the expensive, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. So going to those places obviously is like the first place I'm going to go. But to me, the must do is anything where, because I have a couple friends that live here.
Right.
I just want them to take me to what they do on their daily life. No BS. I don't want to go to the touristy spots. I don't want to go where everybody gets taken to. I want to go where my boys are building their life and what they're doing every single day. That's
awesome.
what I like seeing about it. Do you enjoy going?
Of course. So I'm the opposite. Like, I'm very private in general. So I like my chill private spots.
I can tell by your podcast.
Yeah, right. Super private. Had to walk through 3 doors. But yeah, so that's me. Like, I'm also not very much obviously of a touristic person, but when we have guests, we like to show them around.
Of course.
We're people with hospitality.
So whenever you go somewhere where you don't know, what is your favorite thing to do? Do you?
So I go with my friends. If I have local friends, obviously, like, I tell them, take me where it's good. You know, even if it's a little touristic, I don't mind. When I travel, though, it's different because sometimes you want to see the most common things, you know, internationally.
Well, of course, but once you saw those,
that's it. Yeah, I want to go chill. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
It's the company. It's not the places. I always say that.
There you go.
Right?
That's absolutely it.
All right, let's set the record straight. What cars do you currently have in your garage? We're confused, buddy.
By the way, I've never gotten so much about something that I've done, like, decided to do with my life as to with my own garage, which I understand, because once you start building it on YouTube, it belongs to everyone.
I mean, you have a family, a huge family on YouTube.
That's right.
People love your cars. You have very special cars, and the way you are is you're very blunt, you know?
Yes.
And that's something that we're going to talk about as well. But at this point, what cars do you have?
So right now, just answering your question, I have an AMG GTR. I have an E63 wagon.
Okay.
I mean, if I can count my wife's cars, the G63, her Aston Martin DB11. Nice. I have a Beetle RSI, which no one knows what that is and why I spent so much money on a damn Beetle. It's a $60,000 Volkswagen that no one understands why.
Oh my God.
That, I have a smart car and a Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge.
Okay, beautiful.
That's all I have right now, if I can say that in quotes.
That's all he has, guys. I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry. And the reason why is simple. It's for 2 different things. One, I bought my dream car last year. It's almost a year ago.
Okay.
And it was a McLaren Senna, and it burned down on me like 11 days after I got it.
That was insane. I mean, that what curse did you name that? There's a curse name for that, right? It has the Sheen curse.
The Shmee curse.
Shmee curse. Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, wait, are you? Do you? The Shmee curse, guys. Oh my God, is it real? Is it actually real?
It's not real. It's not real. I like to have fun with really dumb things, and I know a lot of people don't think they're funny, and especially probably Shmee. Tim doesn't think it's funny, but I thought it was hilarious because at some point we were just buying the same cars.
I know.
And listen, I'm a very fortunate and lucky person. I've been so lucky in my life that everything that I want to do, everything that I want to touch, I can do.
Right.
But at the same time, with the one thing that I love and I'm obsessed with, that it's cars, I have the worst luck in the world. The worst. So, I mean, by the car burning down, you can tell what it is. So every single time I was ordering a car lately that Shmee was getting, I would have a problem with it.
I know. The G-Wagon.
My wife's poor G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. My AMG GTR Pro that got here like a year later. I just can't remember what it was. But yeah, it was like a ton of those cars. The Senna, obviously.
The Senna was like, oh my God.
At what point do you say, this is a weird coincidence, right?
Yeah, and
you just
the
gotta
worst
acknowledge
part
it.
was, it happens so weirdly. You're just driving and then you pull over and the car is on fire.
It was very strange, very, very strange. So
what happened exactly?
We were driving back from Malibu, and I think there's nothing hotter than my own wife driving one of the sickest cars in the world, right?
Yeah,
so every time I had a
sure.
crazy car, I was like, you need to drive
You
this.
need to drive.
Yeah.
Sexy as
it is really sexy.
True.
So she was driving back from Soho in Malibu to my house, which is 20 minutes out, just going through the mountains,
right,
if you will, or the canyons, the hills, whatever you want to call it. And 2 minutes into the drive, my friend that I had just lunch with his wife called me, and they go, you know what? Let's go to your house and just have some fun. Let's go eat. Let's go watch TV, whatnot, because they were in from out of town.
Okay.
And I was like, that's great. And his wife was really pregnant.
Okay.
So almost getting to my house, my friend calls me and goes, "Do you mind if we stop at the Taco Bell?"
Oh
And
my God.
And I go, of course, let's stop at Taco Bell because she wanted to eat some Taco Bell.
Right.
She had just like the munchies for
The
Taco Bell.
cravings, yeah, we're there.
So let's do it. We stopped at Taco Bell and my friend goes, "Do you mind if I jump in the car with your wife? Because I've never been in a Senna and you can jump in the car with my wife." And they were driving a Ferrari, an 812, and the first time I ever got in one, and it's amazing.
Okay.
And I go, hell yeah!
Of
I'm getting to get driven by a woman in a 812. That's amazing. Like,
And
again,
she's pregnant, right?
she's very pregnant.
Yeah,
very
so
pregnant.
So that's a first.
That's a first all around. That's a first all around. So we get in the cars, we get out of the parking lot, we make a right, and immediately they call me and they say, "Hey, the car's not going more than 30 miles an hour. It says that it has a front lift problem."
Oh my God.
And I go, "Oh, McLarens always have that. Like an
Right.
error will always come up, and all you need to do is turn off the car and turn it back on."
Okay.
And that fixes everything, apparently. It's like a computer.
Okay.
You know when your computer's acting
Yeah.
up, you just like force the
True.
reset, and then
Yeah.
it comes back and you're good?
100%.
So I told him, just wait at the, I'm going to stop at the light. I'll wait for you guys. We'll stop at the light. I'll turn off the car, turn it back on, and let's go. So I get in the car, I turn it off, turn it back on, and the error is gone. And I tell my wife, "All right, get in the car." And she goes, "No, you get in the car. I don't want to drive your piece of now." I'm like, "Okay, I got
Okay,
it."
yeah.
So I get in the car with my friend. I put it in drive and immediately accelerate. And as I accelerate, I just look in my rearview mirror and there's just flames coming out of my exhaust.
Oh my God.
And the flames are staying lit on the ground. I've never seen anything like that. Never. It looked like lava was coming out of the car. And where we were, it was a two-way street. And it was
Okay.
very tiny.
yeah.
And a month before, all of LA had burned down. All of it,
Horrible. That
right
was during
there.
that time.
And it was during that time, and it had rained again, so everything was half ready to burn again.
Oh my God.
So as I'm going through there, I was like, if I stop, someone's going to come down the hill and hit me behind the car and kill us.
Right.
And if I stop anywhere further, I'm going to burn down all of LA, and I don't want to be responsible. I don't have enough money to cover that. I really
He was
don't.
like, look, it might seem like I do, but I don't have
I
enough
don't.
money for LA. I'm
I
sorry.
really don't.
I
I
can
really
cover
don't.
myself, but not LA.
So I said, I'm going to keep driving. Every time I pressed the accelerator, more lava would come out to the
Oh
street.
my God.
So I floored it once quickly. I put it in neutral, and I made it all the way to a driveway where there was.
Which was that side where you parked the car, right?
That's right.
And it was close to a tree too. I think like
No. The trees were
Okay.
that looked like it was, but the trees were around. So
Okay.
there was nothing above directly the car,
Oh,
which was my
thank God,
worry.
yeah.
Exactly. So I pull up there. I get out of the car, and the car just starts to explode like in different ways.
So you took a video of that, guys. If you haven't seen it, you need to check out the video.
I
It's
did.
insane. Like you actually hear like all these different sounds, like electric things, circuits going off.
Yeah.
The engine. I was like, damn.
It was really scary.
It was scary, and you were still chill though. Like, I mean, you were in shock, but you were still like kind of like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's a car. Like, I love
was.
that, you know, and that's the right mentality to have.
And I
because-
really believe that. It's just a car. Your insurance is going to pay you back. Don't worry about it. And
Right.
most importantly, film it. And the reason why was every time I see someone get into an accident, every time I see a car that sets on fire or something fun,
Yeah.
well, not fun, something that would look fun in a video,
Yeah.
I always wonder why people are not videotaping it or videotaping it right.
Right.
So I said, at least this is what I do. I'm going to break out my iPhone and start filming it.
And I think it's cool because it's your car too. So, I mean,
It is.
not that it's fun to
No,
burn
no,
your
no, of
car,
course.
but I mean, at least it's your own original content.
No one came and did it for me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. So the car burns down, and I go, you know what? We immediately, as soon as I got out of the car, called 911. And I
Right.
said, we need the firefighters to come over. I don't want to see the whole place burn down because of
Right.
my fault, whatever.
Smart.
So they come in, and also I wanted my car to be fine.
Yeah.
But
you
sadly-
wanted to save it.
But sadly, it was too
long.
late. So the guys come in, they put out the fire, and I go immediately after that happens, you know what? I'm going to remove all the stickers so that people don't immediately go and say that's Alejandro's car. Because I had some stickers of one of my
Yeah.
companies that made it very obvious that was
That
my
it's
car.
your car.
So I removed all those stickers. And as I remove all the stickers, whatnot, a cop comes in and stops, and he looks at me and he smiled in a weird way. And I didn't think much of it. He just looked at me and kind of smiled.
Okay.
And just kept going in, and then he started taking pictures of the whole thing, like super close and whatnot. And every time I'd get close, he would yell at me like, stay back, stay back. because the fire and whatnot.
Damn.
So the car was already out, like it was not on fire anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stay away. Maybe he knows. Maybe it's procedure. Maybe it's just like he's taking the pictures, whatever. And I go home and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to tell anyone that this happened. I want to clear the air with McLaren because this is a big problem that they have on their cars. It's ridiculous that we were just driving like at idle, basically, and the car just burned down like this. So I wanted to deal with it on a personal level because I know companies feel attacked.
Yes.
Whenever something like that happens.
Especially by you, Alejandro.
Especially by me. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but
It's true.
It's true. You're very blunt. And that's the thing.
True.
Your emotions speak out. So
it's absolutely true. So I didn't want them to feel attacked because I've learned my lesson from just speaking my mind. And the moment I get home, I start getting all of these DMs saying that my car burned down. And I said, how the hell do people know this? It's not possible. And the cop had uploaded...
Mr. Super Cool Cop.
Officer, he uploaded everything that he could online. And he tagged me.
Wow.
So that's why he was smiling when he saw me. He's like, I know this clown.
Oh.
A little tag.
Back off, buddy. This is my time to shine.
And it was his time to shine. So he uploaded all of that and beat me to it. And that's what happened to my car. So after that, and to answer your question, to go back to what cars do you own? After that, I felt like because of the way it was handled, McLaren went after me and they were like, dude, you burned the car. You were probably smoking in the car. And by the way, who's smoking in the car and can burn down a car?
Yeah.
Like, what were you smoking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
what, were you having a barbecue in the car?
Were you having a volcano inside of the car? Like, what was it?
And how come it starts from the back?
So that's what I'm saying. That's why it was so dumb. And then other guys that had other dealerships, other McLaren dealerships were calling me out saying, I can't believe what you do for attention and what you do to like trash a brand. Which, by the way, I love McLarens.
Yeah.
At that point, I loved the company. I thought they were fantastic.
I mean, it was one of your dream cars.
It was absolutely my ultimate dream car. That's what people don't realize because they saw me with a wire with a 918 and I can buy whatever I want.
Yeah.
That was my retired life. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I wasn't doing any of that. So I came from that and I said, you know what? I'm going to put my money into all these businesses that I'm building right now so that I can actually create more content and make something more fun out of my life because I'm ready to move on to another stage of my life. And when I did that, the first car that I could buy at that level was the Senna. Wow. And I was very proud of it. It was like a great, proud moment in my life. I paid $500,000 over for the car.
Yeah.
And got it from a dealer and the car burns down and it just like destroyed me that the company that I had put all of my money into, all of my faith into, just turned around and did that to me.
Wow.
Like I couldn't believe it. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to stay away from cars. And then my wife had her G-Wagon that was a lemon right afterwards. And I said, we have something that the universe is saying, don't buy a car just now, Alejandro. You do not need another car. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay away from it. I still have a lot of work to do. I'm going to be traveling a lot this year, so I'm just not going to rush into that. And then I had an experience where I went to Monaco to Formula E. And I'm big into like the whole, and you guys can say whatever, environment, like climate change. I'm not going to get into it.
Right.
I'm big into that. And I said, I cannot be a hypocrite and be supporting that, but like have all these cars. So I'm just going to go with an electric fleet. I'm going to have one car that's going to be my regular gas car.
I love that. That's when you went into the mood of just getting rid of all your cars?
Well, no, I got rid of the cars because after the car burned down, I was on a high of adrenaline.
Okay.
When the car burned down, I was like, whoa, I'm invincible. I didn't die. Like, not like, and it's not like I was thinking about it. That's just how you feel. And 3 days later, the adrenaline goes away and you just like depression sets in because it's all of your good comes out of your body and you're just left with what's not that.
True.
And I was like, whoa. And you know, I said, whatever, I'll get over this. This is not a problem. And I was doing a live podcast. Back in the day, I had a podcast. And someone commented and told me, by the way, you're so lucky that the doors open because the wires and the wiring harness for all of the electrical goes through the middle of the car.
Oh my God.
And I never thought about it. And just the memory of the car melted everywhere. And the window frames, because it's a double frame window on the Senna, did not burn. So I would have died roasted inside of that car.
Oh my God.
And that just
shook you.
Without even knowing really did, I realized that I was not getting in my cars. That I was looking at him like,
Like, yeah, you had a fear of...
And I didn't realize that I had it. And it just overwhelmed me when I realized, and I tried to get in the cars and I just couldn't do it. And the way I fixed it, and it was just by accident, was I got on a plane. And when I was sitting on the plane, I turned around and I looked left and I see a guy pulling a fuel hose back. And as he's pulling the fuel hose, I started smelling all of the fire. That was the first plane I got into after that.
God.
And I started freaking out. I started looking left and right. And I was like, how come no one can smell the fuel? We're going to burn down. We're all going to die.
God.
And I started having like a full-blown panic attack in the plane. And I said, well, Alejandro, are you going to be the guy that stops the plane right now and everyone like calls out and on the news? Because I don't know why people always make it to the news when they stop a plane from taking off.
Yeah.
Right?
It is kind of a big deal. They're like, oh, this guy just made a plane not move. Yeah.
So I didn't want to be that guy. I said, I already have enough things, like enough people insulting me for just my car burning down to do this. So I'm just going to move on and not deal with that and just listen, if you burn down, you're going to die one day anyway. So just put up with it. Just go. And just getting on that plane helped me so much because I was able to do it. And then on the return flight, I didn't have that. And I said, I'm ready to jump into one of these cars and see
how it goes.
And I did, and it was great.
I mean, honestly, so after you sold all your cars, what was the goal?
I wanted to sell the cars because I wasn't getting on them. That was before the plane thing.
Right.
I wasn't getting on them. I wasn't doing anything like that. And I wanted to sell them so that I could just get back to my mental state where I was not worried about it and I needed people to call me out on it.
Okay. And then
does that make sense?
It does. Were you thinking of coming back? Like, was it just a temporary thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew that you were
because I can buy the cars again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
I said I'm gonna get rid of them. People are gonna call me out enough where I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm ready to go back, and I'll buy them again. And in the middle of that, that's when I went to Monaco.
It was a detox.
It was, and it really helped me out. Whether people like it or not, that really changed my life at that point. Thank God, and put me in a much better place mentally from where I was.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you. But yeah, there's a lot of pissed people.
Well, there's a lot of pissed people, including yourself. You're
Yeah.
pissed. You actually said you never want to buy another McLaren.
Well, what would you do?
I mean, I understand. I totally understand. You're obviously, like I said, you're blunt, so you speak your mind. And at this point, recently you just came back from Saudi, actually.
That's right.
And I heard that you wanna buy another McLaren. Wait, is this true? I need to understand.
No, hang on. See, I look like a crazy person.
You are bipolar. I'm Alejandro. I mean, I don't know who you hang out with, but someone needs to tell you. Are you bipolar?
I am not.
You're not.
I here's the thing, and I completely understand the reasoning behind. I always like to work on me. I always like to be better. I always like to just evolve, whether and mostly mentally, to be honest with you, because I don't like to be stuck in the same place. I don't like to be the same guy I was a year ago. So when people say, "My God, you changed," that's a compliment to me, right? Like, okay, I've gotten somewhere else.
Yeah.
I want to get a step above where I was the year before.
For sure.
And to me, I was holding on to this crazy negativity on something so stupid as like the car that really, really I like the most.
Right.
The car company that I like the most. And I had this negativity because of the principles of the company, not because of the cars.
Right.
I got out of the car, and now, listen, if I buy another McLaren, I always have like this little tool that I can break the glass with so I can get out if anything happens. I legitimately have that now, and I carry it with me. Everywhere with me, just in case.
That's smart.
You never know.
Yeah.
You know, that's like,
smart.
That's at least your insurance policy for your brain to be at ease. So I was right now in Saudi in this crazy car show and auction, and I'm looking at all these crazy McLarens, and I'm like, I just have to stop fighting with myself because I'm not fighting with anyone else. Do you think McLaren cares that I'm not going to buy another car?
Yeah.
They're so happy. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, we don't have to hear from this clown again. And everybody else doesn't really care about you. Like, they can say whatever they want, but it's all It's you within yourself.
100%.
And I said, I'm not going to fight myself anymore. I'm not going to fight, and I'm not going to put this negativity out anymore into the world that is just damaging me and nobody else, because it's making me resentful. It's making me not want to get around cars, because I can't even get into the one thing that I like, into the world that I love. Yeah. And I just thought it was time to just let go of that, and it honestly feels great.
I respect
I'm
that.
so
I
happy
respect
right
that.
now.
I'm actually like, I really respect that you are able to do that, because a lot of people can't do that, you know.
It's not good with relationships.
100%.
You know?
Look, you're the master, you know, when it comes to relationships and being able to break them or make them.
That's right.
You have had it all, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. But even despite that, it's just personal, like you were saying, like the fight within yourself.
That's horrible.
It's the worst. It's so hard.
And people can feel it around you. People can see it around you. It shows way more than what you think. And at least, you know, because I was thinking no one's going to notice that I'm going through this, like mentally, whatever. Everybody somehow knows and feels it. It's
I
all
think
that
they
energy.
can tell, because your energy is like here when you're, you know, it's totally different.
It's
trust me, we can tell. Trust me. Like I watch your stuff, so it's
I appreciate
easy,
that.
it's
Thank
easy
you.
to tell, you know.
And that was bad. That's bad that people can tell that I was in that place, because I really kept rejecting the idea that I really was.
But it's genuine though, and you know,
that's what I've always given people, me.
Yeah.
Which it pisses them off, and you know, sometimes it makes them happy, sometimes it makes them
I
mad,
think that's why
but it's just me.
it's you, and that's why we love you, because you are
Thank
yourself.
you.
And the bluntness, honestly, is what I love. I
Thank
love
you.
that, you know, because you're not just another car reviewer who just comes and praises every single car, you know.
Well, I try not to get involved with car manufacturers in that way for that same reason alone. Like, how can you get invited by Porsche? How can you get invited by Audi? How can you get invited by Pagani to drive one of their cars and have a real opinion? How? There's a conflict of interest that's massive right there.
100%.
And everybody watching it, they're like, oh, this guy's so positive, so he's probably telling me the truth. Like, no.
It's not possible.
That's what got me into the car world in the first place, man. That I bought all these cars that everyone told me were great, and they were and I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out why like everything that they were telling me was a lie. And then I made a video called Hyper 5 to put like the biggest cars on earth against each other: McLaren P1, 918, LaFerrari, Veyron Super Sport, and Pagani Huayra. And I put them on the side, and I said, I really want to see which one is the best. Right. And that turned out to be really close to each other. And then I grabbed that concept and did it into a show called Banging Gears.
Wow.
That we would put like the McLaren, the 675 LT, the ACR, the GT3 RS, the Ferrari, all of that. And then I started to realize that it's just garbage that people are feeding to others because they're selling. And that's not me. I've never been a sellout. You always get what you get, which is terrible already, but but at least you're getting the truth through whatever you're seeing.
100%, and it's genuine. And again, everything is objective.
That's
so
right.
It's coming from your end, and it's very like, you know, it's an opinion at the end of the day. It's your opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be right or wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
there's
it
no
is just
right
my
or wrong.
opinion.
It's your opinion.
That's it.
So there is no right or wrong, and that's why. For people, people understand it. Look, you have so many fans from all over the world. So obviously you're doing something right.
I appreciate that.
You should keep it up.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Alejandro, you were born in Mexico.
Yes, sir.
Studied in Canada.
No.
Hold on.
I moved to New York, and I didn't study. I just I had to get a visa, right? So I just went to acting school, which was the easiest thing to do and the cheapest. Oh. And then I became in love with it.
Okay, and then you were with your best friend at 19, right?
Yeah, that's my friend Rodrigo, and we work together, and we're business partners, and he's the CFO of all of my companies, basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel do you miss Mexico? Do you go back and forth?
So now I go back a lot. I opened this YouTube channel in Spanish,
yes.
And I did it as a joke. It was a legitimate joke. Like, I think it's going to be hilarious. I'm going to call it Salomundo, which is like Telemundo. Yeah. And it's just going to be a play on it.
It's doing really well.
It blew up, dude.
It did better.
Way better.
It did better than your English channel
Yeah.
that you had for 10 years almost, right?
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. It did that one. You opened it when 2 years ago, maybe?
2 years ago.
Yeah, and it did
2.
better.
Yeah. It blew up, and then I also did my Facebook in Spanish, and I went from 100,000 to 3 million in a year.
Do you think it's because of the Mexican community, or in general, like the Spanish community, not having a figure like that on YouTube, or someone that shows them cars? And
So there is one of my best friends does that, but
Okay.
I think it's completely different. Number one, you've seen like the trends with Drake. You're in music,
yes,
so you understand that the
100%.
the Latin American
It's
thing,
huge.
it's blowing
It's
up
huge.
because now Americans are realizing, and everybody else is in the world, that the Mexican, and not Mexican, but the Latin culture is such a cult following.
You're right.
They want you to do best. They'll support you from beginning all the way to end. They're going to wait
100%.
for you no matter what happens. They're there for you every single time. And they're so engaged, so active, and so devoted to you. Like no other audience in the world, because
It's-
I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that I know some people here, but
Right.
Latin America has been so intense, and that love that they have. And to me, it was, I think I was putting the opportunity that very few people had, which
Right.
is I can show you my crazy lifestyle without being in the middle of Mexico where people are going to target me for something weird, right? Which a lot of rich people in Mexico don't have the to do that, or
Of
have
course.
a billion security guards. I don't have to have that.
Because obviously when you're in Mexico, comes with threats, you know,
Of course.
showing off money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which to me is more than just showing off the money. I always wanted to see, and I grew up on Top Gear.
Yes.
So I
Oh my God.
always wanted to see certain cars in certain ways. And rich people were, to me, they were never showing me what I wanted to see.
Right.
And when I had the money and I retired and I had those nice cars, I said, I'm gonna do exactly what I wanted someone to do for me when I was a kid, so that I can show all of these kids these cars. And that's how it
there's-
started.
And there's ways of showing off. I mean, honestly, you're probably the most humble, like when it comes to that stuff. You know,
thank you.
because you don't come off as somebody who's showing himself off. You know, if there's anything, you show off the beauty of the cars,
Yeah.
or you show off the beauty of the product. You know, so it's not really about you. It's more about the rest, which is so humbling and so nice to
I
watch.
appreciate that. I just
Yeah.
look at it. I'm a vehicle for people to see what I get to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not about me. I mean, why? If it was about me, I would have grabbed the camera a long time ago, and people would have been like, "Wow,
Yeah.
the guy's amazing. I should follow him all the time." It's about what I can present. It's about like I am the medium for you to see what I wish I could have seen when I was younger or now.
Which is amazing.
I appreciate
Which is
that. Thank you.
amazing. You were a film producer once and had your own
Yes.
production company
Yes, sir.
called Helios.
Yes, sir.
So how did that happen? How did you get into film?
So like I said, I moved to New York, and after 3 months of just being there, I realized, wow, I probably should get a job. And then I tried to get a job, and immediately realized, well, you don't have any papers, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So the cheapest way for me was to get a visa by studying, but I didn't want to study anything.
I know. I can imagine.
I'm already too lazy.
You're like, no, thank you.
No, I'm not going to study anything. And I've always had a passion for making people laugh, for
Right.
entertaining people. So I said, you know what? I should go into acting. That's going to be the easiest, and also it was the cheapest way of doing this.
Okay.
So I went and did that, and I loved it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go to LA and pursue my dream. I'm going to become the greatest actor of all time. Yeah. And obviously the looks and the acting just did not compute when I moved to LA. And I started waiting for, you go to auditions, and, you're waiting for people to hire you.
Yes.
And you know what that's like. And that's not nice.
And it's and you know the golden rule. What is it that they say? It's like out of 1,000 auditions, it's one, or
It's insane. My numbers.
the ratio is just like so.
It was really bad.
Bad.
And also, you need to know someone in order for you to get like real stuff. So you need to network for years. And I went to LA by myself. I didn't
Right.
know anyone whatsoever. So when I moved to LA, I again did the acting program, and I stayed like that. And eventually I realized no one's going to give me an opportunity. You're going to have to create your own opportunities here, because I've always done that in my life. If I'm waiting for something, it never comes. I got to go chase it.
Yeah.
And more people need to know that.
I
It's
agree.
never going to come to you like just because you're wonderful and have a great personality and great looking, you gotta go chase whatever that dream is.
Create your own path.
So for me to create my own path, I started producing short films with me in them so I could showcase myself. But I started writing them, I started directing them, and I started producing them.
Nice.
And before you knew it, I had friends that came up to me and said, hey, do you mind producing my short film? No problem, I'll produce it for you. And then more people came. Do you mind producing my short film? Of course, I'll produce it for you. And then from there, that evolved into someone gave me a job in a big production.
Okay.
He was like, come and do this. For a year, I just shadowed that person. Quiet. I didn't speak at any meetings. I was just learning and absorbing information. What worked for that guy, what worked for those guys, what worked for those guys. And then eventually I said, you know what? I think I'm ready to jump into this and start making my own path here also as a producer of big movies because I understand it. So I started working on that little by little. And I was actually really quick at putting together a project. Like really, really fast.
And turnaround time was crazy.
Well, it was at the end. At first, it wasn't. It's really hard once you get into movies because you don't realize that a movie, when you're just a normal producer that doesn't do it all the time as their job all day long every year, it takes like 3 years to make a movie from beginning to end. And at the end of it, I was doing it in 8 months.
Wow.
So
we're talking about feature films here.
Feature films,
like
absolutely.
End products are about an hour and a half
That's
or
right.
2 hours.
Hour and a half of content, and it takes you 3 years to make, which is ridiculous now thinking about it on YouTube, right?
Yes.
You're like, what?
You're making content here in a couple of hours or days, you know?
All day. So I started doing that, and then I got more in love with the financing part of it. I got very in love with, I became in love with the aspect of intelligent money being put into a movie, like how you're able to just grab a little piece of equity, which is an investment that someone makes into the movie, and everything else you get it from tax incentives, from pre-sales, from soft monies, from all of these different things. So I started doing that, and I really liked it. So from there, I had the opportunity of putting a film fund together for it was a $500 million film fund so that we can do an acquisition for a big company, for a big studio.
Right.
And I learned so much about like the end of that business, which is marketing and everything that it's P&A, prints and advertisement. And then you start learning how studios really make money and all that good stuff. And that also opened my eyes to how companies in general work, because making a movie, if you think about it, it's like creating a company from the start. You develop a product, an idea, then you really put it together into action, and then you have to sell that. But it just happens in such a short amount of time. And then from there, I started consulting from other people, financing other people's movies, because I realized as a producer, it's really hard to get financing with all the middle people. All the middlemen that were in the middle are awful. They all want credits. They all want to have a say in your movie. It's like, you just brought the money. Shut up, take a fee and go. So I started doing that for others. I started saving my money and all of that. And eventually I landed making movies for studios, TV networks, and private investors.
And you did over 20 movies?
I did over 20 movies.
Wow.
Yeah. In, I want to say 8-9 years.
That's incredible.
At the end, I was cranking 3 or 4 movies a year. I didn't have any vacations, nothing. That's why at 30, I said, I'm going to retire. And that's when I started doing YouTube.
Which is, we're lucky that you did decide to do that, honestly. Good content, bro. But that's crazy. I wouldn't have never thought, like, I mean, you had your success with movies.
Yeah.
And generally, people will continue that path.
Well, yeah, but to me, it's not about so much about the money. It's about being fulfilled.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell everyone, but also no one listens. I was making everybody else's movies. I was making the movie that I was getting paid to make every single time. The concept that it's not that I didn't believe in, but it's not the concept that I wanted to. Like the big funny movies that I wanted to make, people were like, no, let's just make this, let's just make that, let's just do this for me. And you start becoming like a robot. I was able to crank these movies without putting an effort into it, which is great for money, right? But at the same time, I wasn't happy. And I said, I'm not going to work. I'm going to give myself a couple years, just retire, and then continue with my real estate stuff, because that was really paying off. And when I did that, I opened my YouTube channel when I was 30 years old. So I'm 34 now, so 4 years ago. I opened my YouTube channel, and that just took a life of its own. And I was making my own movie in every single video that I made. And that was so satisfying and so fulfilling at the same time. And then one day I realized, dude, you're in that position to make what you wanted to make when you were a kid. The Top Gear episode that no one ever put together, like Hyper 5. So I made that video called Hyper 5, and I put $100,000 into it.
Oh, wow.
Because you're never going to get that back in a YouTube video. Unless you're PewDiePie and you get like 1 trillion views and whatever, and then a sponsor, you're not going to get that back in a YouTube video, especially when I had like 70,000 subscribers, if that, when I did it. And I did that, and it was a positive and a negative. It was a positive because it changed my life completely. The next day, people looked at me in a completely different light.
It leveled you to another level.
That I never thought people would look at me in that light. The people that contacted me, the stuff that came out of it was incredible. And the negative was now people demand me to put $100,000 into every episode, or you're not what you used to be.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, expectations, it's like, where do you go from here?
That's right. I mean, that was, to me, that was the top of the top. And I was able to do it. And then we went on and did a show called Banging Gears afterwards.
Right.
That was incredible too. I had a friend of mine that I was lucky enough that he helped me with the financing. Because, man, putting $100,000 into each episode or more kills you. Kills you.
Of course.
After a few episodes, it destroys you. And that was really a fun thing. And that was really the time that I felt the most fulfilled I ever had in my life.
Plus, the content you create would probably never get picked up by a network, right? Like, because of the issue, like the freedom you have, the way you are. I mean, would a network really support it?
Yeah. So I had the original thing is I cleared all of my rights because I'm a film producer. I know copyright. I know all IP. I understand that more than your average YouTuber, if you will.
Right.
So what I did is I turned around, I grabbed a package of all the stuff I had together, and I contacted a sales firm that sells movies and TV, and I said, dude, I have 3.5 hours or whatever it was of programming. Let me sell it international and domestic, and I want either an exclusive deal, a complete buyout, or something with residuals. And I had a company interested in buying everything. Every 30 minutes, they were paying me like this. Every 30 minutes, they were going to get me X amount of money. And that really made the project not profitable, but we got all of our money out, right?
Okay.
And the problem I had at that stage was I wanted to get my friends to sign off on it, the guys that I started making the videos with. And they were like, I need a percentage of your company. I need a percentage of the show. I need a percentage of your YouTube channel because clearly this is about me. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather say goodbye to money than to put up with you guys. So peace. And I left it alone. But that's the real truth. It's really sad because I was lucky enough to grow up, get money, and then see what people do once you get money.
Yes.
And see that transition. But getting attention, if you will, because it's not fame. I want to call attention from other people. Getting that is the most horrendous thing that you can do to society. Like the reactions that people have towards you and what they're willing to do in order for them to get theirs is horror. You got experience this all the time too.
Of course. No, but it's really unfortunate when you hear these stories because especially when it's like friends and people that are, you least expect it from.
Yeah. And then you close yourself off and you're like, I don't want to have any other friends. I don't want to talk to anybody else. I'm done with all of this because everyone at the end is going to do the same thing to me, and they do.
And that's the problem. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that people come into your life, pretend like there's something. And when I say pretend, I mean pretend like there's something.
Hardcore.
Yeah. And then eventually show you a real face when it comes to a situation where they can benefit or profit. Then out of a sudden, people are completely different people. And you're like, who are you again?
And what happened? And then you're wondering, is there something wrong with me? What am I doing?
Did I do something?
And the thing is that to me, I've never had that mentor. I've never had that guy that taught me everything in the world. My dad passed away when I was 4 years old. I've never had like a male figure in my life that was like, you should do this, you should do that. My God, don't do this, don't do that. I've never had the advice from anyone. So I've always wanted to give that opportunity to other people. And every single time I've done it,
it backfired.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So you get to the point where you're like, and also this relates to the McLaren burning down and the negativity that I'm holding. I'm not going to hold any more negativity. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go around to these people and kiss him and hug him next time I see him.
Of course.
But I'm letting go of all that anger and like animosity that exists because I don't need it. It's just weighing in on me. They don't care. They're moving on to the next tool like myself that they can get attention from and doing their own thing. I'm not.
I was just gonna say it's so much weight on yourself. You're stressing yourself out. You're hurting yourself every day more than it will ever affect anyone else. And why? Why?
What do you get out of it?
What do you get out of it?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's not like it's gonna come to a conclusion where they're like, you know what, you're right. Here's a new car, or here's an apology, or this is what we're gonna do. These guys don't care.
Nothing.
I mean, it's true, guys. They don't. Let us know what you guys think, anyways.
Yeah.
But in general, I personally think they don't care as well.
They don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
General.
Who teaches you? Because there's not like a manual or a person that you can talk to all the time that gets attention.
True.
Right? So when you get attention, you're putting a weird level. And listen, Britney Spears went crazy.
Right.
Absolutely crazy from dealing with the attention and what this did to her, because she just went from 0 to 1 billion in a second,
Yes.
right? At least progressively, I've gotten a little bit higher and more of it.
Right.
So little by little, I've seen what people do, and I've been able to protect myself here and there. But I have, and it's been exhausting, man, carrying like this load of again, animosity towards others just because they try to me over. I think the lesson here for me is if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Just let it be, whatever. Just be careful about the people that you're letting into your life, into your circle.
Yeah.
But don't care so much about it. Like as long as they don't kill you or take away your, like the things that you love the most, which to me is my wife, my animals,
course.
you know what I mean? As long as you don't take away that from me, I'm good. Like you can take away the money, you can take away this, even though it's exhausting making the money over and over again just for it. I honestly think the lesson for me here to learn is I can't hold on to those. I can't just always regret letting people into my life. I just need to just let it be. Like,
right.
you know, because otherwise you're just carrying that on your shoulders all the time and nobody else is. Like you said, who cares?
Yeah.
No one cares, man. People online that are watching you, are like, why are you not bringing this funny guy all the time to your show anymore? I don't care if he's you over. I don't care about your life. All I need to do is laugh.
Entertainment.
And they're completely entitled to that. But I'm saying, to me, it's been an exhausting path because you're left with nothing. And to me, the most beautiful thing that this whole thing has brought me is the people that I've met. Like,
right.
because I've met some of the best people that are in my life right now through this, but also at the same time, by far, a lot of the worst.
Yes.
Like the worst of the worst.
I mean,
and again, nothing against them anymore.
which is amazing. Because when you're able to do that, that means you've learned, you know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that people can come in and leave and it doesn't affect you. And that hurts those people even more because, trust me, they want it to hurt you. You
of
know?
course.
They don't want to see you win. And that's a fact.
It's a sad reality because to me, every single, and I've always said this to myself, we're all on the same level until someone proves me wrong. But the problem of dealing with people like that and through life like that is when they prove you wrong is when they're you.
Yeah.
And then you're left in a pretzel.
Right.
And they're like, all right, see you. I already got my 200,000 followers. Check it out. You know what I mean?
You know, the thing is, what I think, probably, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the mistakes is you're a very humble guy, okay? And you probably don't go home and look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm Alejandro, I'm this, I'm that.
No.
And that's an issue, believe it or not, because when these people come into your lives, you know, you look at yourself as a normal person and you look at yourself as, you know, you put everything aside because it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
And because you're super humble. But at the same time, that can hurt you because you ignore all the factors to why these people could be there.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's for the money, whether it's for the fame, whether it's for whatever lifestyle.
Connections.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's so many factors to why someone would want to come into your life and act and pretend and put a face up just to,
and it's
become your
absolute,
friend.
and it's absolutely truth. But what is that sweet fine balance? Because I don't want to walk around thinking, look at who I am and everyone's below me, because you never know who you're gonna meet. And there's a lot of people I've met that you don't see them coming, and they're the biggest people in the universe, and you're like, what in the hell? But
I always think there has to be a filtering system,
Yeah.
in terms of, you have to have filters on. When you see people, think about where do they come from? What do they do? How do we actually relate? How are we actually becoming friends? What are the actual reasons? Is it because we have a similar hobby? Is it because we have a similar culture? Is it because we think alike? Is it because we're great mathematicians? I don't know.
Yeah.
Figure out what are the dots that are clicking you guys. Because a lot of times you'll realize that dots aren't connecting.
Which, what you're saying right now, you could have saved me so much trouble. I can't. In a way, it's so basic, but it's so full of truth. What you're saying in so high level, because that is the problem. That was the start of the problem. I didn't want to relate because most people that I know that have money come from like family money. And they always act like they made it all, and they put themselves in this pedestal, and other people do it without realizing that they're putting these people in a pedestal. And I said, I'm not one of those people. Right. I'm just like everybody else. So now that I'm thinking about what you're saying, I was pretty much the customer of all these guys. I worked with them, paying them money. And then on top of that, I brought them into my life, and I try to make them bigger, as big as my life is. And that is a huge mistake. So now that you're saying that, I agree. Like,
honestly, I mean,
wow.
Wow. it's a big thing. If you think about it, you'll notice, because I went through a lot of this myself too, and I struggled, I went through depression. I went through a lot of phases in my life because of other people, and it hurts me to see people suffer, because good people always somehow end up suffering the most. I don't understand why.
I feel like you end up, and this is super hippie, right? A lot of people are going to say, because people come in and take so much away from you. People don't understand. You do meet and greets all the time, right?
Yeah.
How exhausted are you after meeting all the people?
Of course.
No one understands how much energy gets taken away from you. And we're energy. True. You eat so that you can have energy. Yeah. You go outside in the sun because you need some energy and recharge with that vitamin. Everything is energy. And these people are coming in and taking all of it away, all of the positive one away from you. And they're just leaving you with negative thoughts. And negative thoughts turn into a minus energy. And then you end up depressed and sad, 100%. Not trusting anyone. And that absolutely drains your battery completely.
It hurts you. It hurts your relationship. It hurts your personal family.
Yeah.
I mean, because you bring that back home.
Yeah. To the people that don't deserve it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let it out there. And that's the problem. It causes so many issues that is really not worth it, But you know what? You've learned.
I have.
Yes.
I promise you I have. And what you just taught me right now, that's going to be the first thing I ask myself every single time.
Please do. Please, Alejandro. I want you to tell me one day, listen, bro, I have not been having anybody in my life that really doesn't deserve to be there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The same way they deserve you. And you deserve them. It has to be mutual. Everything in life has to be mutual.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Course,
I really just taking that away from. This is a huge thing for me. So thank you. Thank you.
I'm so honored to be able to give you something, bro. Here's a question: where did the passion for cars come? Because obviously, every boy loves cars. But is there something that you remember where you're like, you know what? This is why I love cars.
It's actually quite ridiculous.
Really?
When I was younger, I went to a private school, but I wasn't like the rich kid in school.
Right.
My mom didn't have anything whatsoever. So I'd go to school in her old car, beat up car, and I would ask her, please just drop me off like a block down so that no one see me. Right? And I'd show up to recess and whatnot. And my friends would talk about cars all the time because their parents
were wealthy,
they had some money and they could buy cars, and they were into it, and they liked racing and all that stuff, and I didn't. And I was so sick and tired, because we went through a phase with all of my friends, right? As you're growing up, where you start getting embarrassed of your parents and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I went through a phase where my friends started to like cars, And remember when I don't know if you ever remember, but magazines from cars had all the specs of every single car that would come out.
Oh yes, and pricing too, right?
All of
Yes,
it.
yes.
And all of my friends kind of knew all of it. So I started feeling like these guys were not talking to me at recess, or I couldn't have a conversation with them because I didn't know anything about him. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show these guys. I'm going to learn everything there is to learn about these damn cars. And I'm going to go and talk to them, circles around them. And that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, my
And before I
God.
knew it, I fell in love with cars. I was talking to them more about cars than anybody else. And they were like, all right, you freak, you need
Like,
to leave
calm
it
down.
alone. You need to leave it alone. I started watching Top Gear, which was life-changing for me.
Life-changing.
Life-changing for me because you get to see the personalities using the cars and talking about them in a level that you've never seen in a magazine before.
True.
And I was very, I was attracted to that a lot, and I didn't understand why. And then I remember when this was like a crucial point to me when the Carrera GT video came out with the SLR in Top Gear. I was like, whoa! If one day I could make that my life, I would
my
do it for
God.
free. And without even knowing that I was going to go through all this preparation by making movies and learning how to talk in front of a camera
Right.
and all that stuff. And here I am being
You end
able
up-
to share that passion because I started, buying myself the cars that I always wanted little by little and started
That's
stacking
amazing.
up and up and up and above. And before I knew it, I was like, I have the opportunity to do what I wanted to do when I was a kid. And I want to share that. So the passion came from jealousy that none of my friends would talk to me about cars, and I felt like I didn't matter in school. I wanted to fit
Oh my
in.
God. Yeah. I mean, that's why I asked, because it generally comes in your childhood. Something triggers something, So a lot of passion comes from your childhood
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of people I meet, they tell me, I'm so passionate about this, but why are you really passionate about it? And then you find out that it was something
Attention.
that they lacked, or which is amazing, because again, you were able to achieve something, convert certain feelings, emotions, and turn them into
A positive
reality.
Yeah,
and
a positive and a reality.
which is amazing. Your content in English and Spanish. Sometimes you forget to do English. Sometimes you forget to do Spanish. How are you organizing yourself now?
I think I don't forget. The audiences are very different.
Okay.
Like very, very different, but at the same time, I'm able to get away with the same thing. For example, there's other once I started doing the Spanish channel and it blew up, a lot of YouTubers starting opening channels in other languages, but by not them talking, but getting subtitles or someone dubbing them, right?
Well, you have the privilege.
Well, what no one understands is it's not about the language. It's
Right.
not it's about understanding and living that world. So because I was born and raised in Mexico, I understand what Latin people like, that flavor, that spice that they need in something,
Yes.
right? Like how you talk to a Latin person is completely different how you talk to a white guy.
100%.
And I know I have the best of both worlds. I was able to move to the US. I didn't hang out on purpose because everyone made fun of my English when I moved to the US. It was like, Mexican guy can't speak English and whatnot. So I became obsessed with learning the language. So
Right.
I immediately started to not make the same mistakes we all make when we go somewhere, which is hang out with the same people from your
Right.
country. And then you don't learn anything, and then you end up sounding like an all of your life. So I
Yeah.
wanted to really, really learn and just hang out with Americans. And I wanted to immerse myself into that culture. And I did. And with my wife, I've been with her for 12 years. For a very long time, I didn't go to Mexico. I had nothing to do with my country because I was just busy creating my own life and my own opportunities here.
Right.
And between her and I, we speak English the whole time. So I was able to really grab my brain and switch it to that side. So once I did that, it was actually really frightening to go back to Spanish because I had forgotten how to speak like.
Yeah, of course, it changes. You get used to
changes.
something. It's not that you really forget it, but
Yeah.
your style changes.
That's right. So I was able. I was very lucky in the first video that I made that even though I didn't speak Spanish, I said it and people just took it for what it was. And the Latin audience being so great as they are, they were like, "I understand. I'm gonna see what this guy can do."
Right.
And from there, I started making my own videos, which is Spanish and English. And I do a lot, like I want to say that 90% of the time I make the same video in both.
Okay.
And it has like its subtleties where in Spanish I'll talk about something more, where in English I'll just focus on something else more.
Okay.
Even though the videos look the same, if you really watch them in both languages,
It's different.
it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's very tailored to whatever the culture is. Like if I was
Right.
going to do a video in Italian and I spoke Italian, I wouldn't be able to do it because I don't know how those people speak to each other. I don't understand what the connection is
True.
between themselves. So, and also the American audience has seen everything. People in
Right.
Mexico haven't seen anything at all compared to us because
Yeah.
the money in Mexico that creators make is nothing compared to what we make in the US
Right.
or any English speaking channel, right?
It's different.
It's completely different. So there's not that drive for everyone to create like incredibly
Oh, yeah.
impressive content because it's going to pay me. Like Mr. Beast would
Yeah.
be Mr. Broke if he did it in Spanish. Like I open a dealership with $100,000 and then I owe $120,000 now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's completely different. And I'm able to create more content in Spanish because it's so easy. It's already accessible. I have it there and it's not going to be repetitive. I don't like to do repetitive stuff, even though sometimes I do fall for,
Right.
I need to do this again, or I'm going to go, because there's only so many cars that there
Of
are
course.
out there and so many things that you can do. So right now I want to change that. I have a new format that's coming up for Spanish and English. I'm going to do it at the same time because I have a
Nice.
friend that's super charming and so talented in Spanish and in English.
Wow.
And we're going to launch a brand new format that no one had ever done in cars.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that. I don't want to talk about it.
yeah.
I just want people to see it
Perfect.
so that they don't make a predetermination that I'm not going to like that. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
them to watch it.
Just
and go
watch it and then you'll know.
You make your decision at that point.
That's super exciting.
Yes.
And when is that supposed?
So right now I'm getting back to the US and immediately in one of the next 3 weeks, we're shooting the first long episode. And the first long episode should be 4 episodes of each. So
Okay.
8 videos total.
Nice.
Yes, and it's going to be hopefully once a month because he's also super busy with everything that he does.
Right.
He's a professional athlete. So
Nice.
he's super busy doing what he does, and we got to make sure that our schedules fit. I'll do the production, I'll do the everything.
Right.
My guy just comes in and does what he's supposed to do, which he's
Perfect.
incredible at, and be able to do it.
That's exciting.
Yeah, because
super exciting.
I feel like I'm going back now into like that banging gears type of show, but in
Yeah.
a completely different format that hasn't existed ever.
Awesome.
And that just fuels me because that's the movie that I wanted to make all the time. That's the
Right. It's your content. It's
Yes.
it's what your passion, your drive.
Yes.
That's what gives you satisfaction, right?
That's right.
You have a lot of companies and a lot of times people say, where did he make his money from? You know?
Which, by the way, it's so annoying. Don't you see
I
it?
know.
Yeah.
It's so personal. It's so private. But again, you're proud of a lot of your companies. You show them off. You have different, name us some of the.
So we have a watch company. We have a alcohol company. I obviously have my real estate company. I had my production company, which I don't do anymore, but I kind of do still with YouTube and whatnot.
Right.
I have a social marketing company, so I do social marketing strategies for huge companies.
Amazing.
I do clothing. My wife does clothing.
Clothing, yeah, I saw-
Her clothing is other level. She's killing it. I'm so proud of her right now.
That's amazing.
It's something that I knew was going to do well, but not this soon. She's only been doing it for a year,
Wow.
and she's taking it to the next level. We just launched our alcohol company, which I never
doing-
expected the results from. Even though I knew that's why I made it,
Right.
I never expected the results that we're having already on it. Like,
I mean,
the future looks bright, and I have a CBD company and a marijuana company
okay. So
and
that's,
wheels, and we also do wheels, but that's more of a fun thing.
And you also do real estate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so much, you know?
Yes.
How do you have time for YouTube?
That's why I don't have time right now because I've been building for 2 years. Listen,
much.
all
Yeah.
of the guys, and this is something that it doesn't make me sad, but also separates everyone. Like you see celebrities,
Yeah.
and the celebrities that have real money, like Jay-Z, like
Right.
50 Cent, like Diddy,
Yeah.
just to name, like J-Lo,
Yeah.
Beyonce. What do they have in common? They all are entrepreneurs and use
Yeah.
their name to do other stuff.
Business people. 100%.
Business people. You go with the mindset of if the music ever goes away, I'm able to chill by doing this. You know what I
Right.
mean? So when we started doing the clothing was because a friend of mine told me, I went to him. He had been in YouTube forever and he's killing it.
Okay.
And I said, dude, the views are kind of crap, like what they
Yeah.
pay. How do you make your money? And he goes, merch, bro, merch, 100% merch. Like I make 90% of my profits on merch. And immediately the next day, because I'm one of those people that just has to take action, I went on and told my wife, you need to make me a clothing line. This is what we're going to do.
We need to sell merch.
Yeah, and thank God she supported me. And I didn't want to just sell merch. I wanted to really sell my lifestyle. I really wanted to sell something beyond that. So what I'm wearing right now, it's like my wife's line that she made for me. So
Plus the thing is, you give your fans and your audience a chance to connect to you.
That's right.
You know, and that's something that if I'm a big fan, I want to be able to connect to you somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's through clothing, whether it's through a watch, whether it's something it's personal to you and something you wear, so I would feel connected, you know?
That's right. But again, I didn't want it to feel like, oh my God, I'm just buying like a hat that this tool made. Like I just wanted it to be a little bit more special. So that's why my wife involvement was so huge to me at the beginning stage of it.
Okay.
And that really showed me that there's a value of creating a brand within yourself rather than just merch. So we did that, and that took a life of its own. And wow, that was so easy because my wife did it all.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So to me, it was like, oh my God, I can do this whole day. And then I went on and did like a million different things at the same time. And I wanted to see what would work, what didn't work. And I'm not scared of failures. Like,
I mean, you have the freedom, luckily, right? You have the financial freedom to be able to say that. Like,
that's right.
Let's try everything, or let's try this and that. And
well, by myself, because anyone has the financial freedom of doing it. If you get an investor and you have a great idea and you're really hard at work, anyone can do that. True. But what I wanted to eliminate was that part, because I learned if I'm bringing other people in, all they're doing is leaving me with nothing, and they're taking everything away from me. So I'm just going to bankroll myself and take all of the hits myself and also all the successes myself. So I did that, and I opened 24 companies in the past 2 years.
Wow.
And out of the 24 companies, I want to say 9 companies have really gone to the next level in many different stages. In some of them, we're on funding stage number 3, which is incredible. In some of them, it's just like my own money kind of floating, but it's still like so much fun to do. And it's a little mixture of everything.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I mean, that's
Thank
incredible.
You. But it's been a lot of people always ask, like, how do you make your money? How do you do this? And, from all of the stuff from before, I explained to everyone like how I started on real estate, how I started on everything. Right. And now that I'm doing it in front of their eyes, they're like, so this is what you do now? You just make businesses? Like, this is my life, man. This is
how it was.
This is how it was before.
You're a business guy.
I just stopped for a while so that I could start making content when I was retired. And you guys saw me not doing anything but car videos. And now I'm back to just working. And now I found the balance, right? Because now I'm finished. I'm done setting everything up. All the big legwork is done. Okay. Everything is in control of the professionals, the main guys, the guys that...
You have a team that will take care of
for
the
each
daily...
one. For each one. Because we have a core team for all of them, and then we have an expertise team on each one that handles their own company. And that's the way to do it. Because if you go and if I start getting into like, this is the next watch that we're going to make, we flop.
Yeah.
But the guys are experts at what they do, so we just sit back and just let them do their thing, and they're taking it to the next level. And the same thing goes for the alcohol one, and the same thing goes for the CBD one, and the same, you know what I mean?
Just bring experts, and that's what you hire them for, right?
That's
for their expertise.
That's right. You have an idea, you have an angle, or maybe they have the idea, the angle, but they don't know how to execute it properly. Right. And you combine. Like it's never like the same formula. You're never going to see the same business within the same formula twice. Right. It's all different because it has different variables in many different levels.
Of course.
So we've been doing this, and it's been incredibly fun. And now we found like a niche of creating these super products with creators, partners, and that's taking it to a different galaxy. I don't want to say even level, like galaxy of success. And I'm focusing my energy a lot in those new companies and ventures because
they're doing incredible.
What they're doing for me and will be doing for my life. Because what I want to do is I want to be able to open that door, just like 50 Cent, like Diddy, like Jay-Z. They all became billionaires. Why? Not because of their music, not because of their videos, not because of their IP, but because of the alcohol, for example.
Yeah.
So I said, how come an influencer, if you will, because we're creators, we're not influencers. Yeah. How come creators can go and do the same thing and
create an empire.
And create an empire on their own. I want to be able to put our name and be able to put all of the people that do what we do on the same level as those guys, because we are.
Yeah.
We have like that direct marketing strategy. We're just not part of the mainstream media that was born so long ago.
Right.
But we're part of the new wave of stuff that everyone is part of.
That is honestly more powerful.
So
I believe it's way more powerful.
That to me is, I believe so. I believe so too. So that to me is the engine driving everything, right? I want to be able to put our name and say, hopefully in 18 months when we sell one of our companies for $200 or $300 million, someone's gonna go like, that dude sold but he's just an influencer.
No, you're an entrepreneur and you're a businessman, and that's the main core of this whole idea. The concept behind you is you're a businessman. You know how to create different businesses, convert some become successful, some failures, normal in every,
everyone has those.
Everyone has those, but you know how to make something go from nothing to making
something.
Money, to something. So that's a key element.
I think to me is more taking advantage of the opportunity that's presented in front of you. Every single time there's opportunity, you got to grab it, right? You got to be receptive enough to open the door and just run through it whenever you see that there's a door right there that's open
100%.
and it's not locked. And that's what I've been doing, because people now see me, oh, you open a YouTube channel to do businesses. No. Once I realized what I had here, and it's in front of me, I'll take the opportunity every single time.
Right.
Every single time. As long as it's not damaging the original and the pureness of what I'm doing, I will go and take it.
100%.
Every single time.
That's
and
smart.
Everyone else should too.
Yeah.
And how many people are sitting there looking at opportunity in the face and just going like, nah, I'm better than that. Like, you're not better than anything. Go get it done.
I always say that's a pride issue a lot of people have, and it's a wrong pride. It's a pride for nothing.
It's called ego.
Ego. It doesn't benefit you.
You got to destroy your own ego, right? In order for you to be able to realize that all these doors are in front of you, because otherwise you're better than that.
And again, a lot of people see open doors and don't know what to do with it. But that's also a lack of, I would say, experience, knowledge. A lot of things come with that, confidence. You're a confident guy, Well,
what about, because I
risks.
I wasn't like this. Taking risks is one of the most beautiful things in life. Failing is one of the best things that anyone could ever do. And the thing is, we mock those people who fail every now and then. But the reality is they just learned something that you don't know. You know what I mean? Taking that, like when Kanye West did that interview with Sway so long ago. Do you remember like the why Sway, why that one?
Yes.
And he was talking about fashion and that he was going to be the one moving making a movement.
Changing.
Everybody told him that he was crazy and a failure and laughed at him. And then he announced that he put all of his money into these sneakers, and everybody laughed at him because Kim was financing him because he had no money. Dude has sold $1.5 billion in sneakers.
Yep.
I mean, he's got a new fashion line that is absolutely insane. He plays the head designer of Louis Vuitton, where he is the first black guy to ever do that at that level, right?
100%.
And is anyone laughing?
Nope.
Right? But you got to put up with that. And you got to know, some people, every single time, people don't realize what you're about to go through, what you know, what you can see. No one can see it. Take those opportunities to fail. You're going to be fine. Failure is just adapting to the winning formula to something.
True.
It's not just failing. You're just learning what not to do in order to do what you're supposed to do better. And if you're not learning from your failure and keep doing the same thing, you're an
You need help. 911.
But there's nothing more beautiful than taking that chance and seeing it pay off later. And the problem also is, from our generation, everyone wants that instant gratification and reward.
They're lazy too.
No one's willing to work. No one's willing to make a sacrifice. No one's willing to put their stuff on the back burner, like all the stuff that they love. I get people that I ask that are telling me, is there anything I can do to make more money in this? I'm like, what do you do on the weekends? Oh, I go out with my family and we go here and there. I'm like, grab your weekend, going out. Your family's going to understand. Sacrifice your time and put it into what you're supposed 100%. To do to make money. And they're like, but I'm 30 years old, but I'm 40 years old. What do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
Like, why am I okay to do that, but you're not? You're better than that? No, you're not. You're asking, how can you get out of debt?
True.
How can you pay for your kids' tuition?
True.
And you're not willing to sacrifice anything.
So I honestly believe that we are on a great path. A lot of people have a vision, don't know how to execute it. And I think a lot of times I tell people, you know what, you told me the story about shadowing, like how you were a shadow. I say that to people all the time.
The value.
That was, my father did that with me. My father took me and he said, I don't want you to talk. I just want you to listen. And I said, and I was a kid. He used to take me everywhere with him to his meetings because my father also said, I'm never going to give you a dime. I want you to make your own money. I'm going to teach you
The value of it.
how to make money. And that's the greatest gift I can give you. And I agreed. And only now do I appreciate everything that I went through with just shadowing, because you learn so much when you don't talk. For once, you know?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't get that. They want to go, they want to talk, they want to act like they know everything, but they don't.
And by the way, when you're sitting in a room with someone that knows, right?
Yes.
And you come in and you pretend that you know better than them, they know. It's like looking at a kid that's 9 years old that's trying to play you, and you're like, come on, kid, get out of here.
They smell it from afar.
It's the same thing. And that's something that also, as I've been progressing with everything that I do, because every now and then I'll get one of those people in my company, right? That comes in and jumps and says like, I'm going to talk in front of everyone and just tell everyone how the story is. And I just stay quiet the whole time he's talking. And then I get out and I'm like, what in the world were you saying? Why would you open your mouth when you're not ready to open your mouth?
Yeah.
And then that has two reactions. One,
you're fired.
I understand. Well, I understand, and I'm sorry. I should know better than that. Or you don't know anything. Get the hell out of here. I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah. And that's what you call someone who thinks they know everything. They know it all. They've done it all. They've seen it all. And they 99% of the time haven't seen anything.
Yeah. And we don't know anything. I mean, to me, I treat every single day and every single thing I do as I'm not the one that's right. At least this is what I've done so far. This is what's worked for me. You tell me what will work for you. Let's analyze whatever the hell it is, the the common denominator, and then maybe that's going to be the one that's going to take us further. And if not, maybe we'll find that denominator with someone else. But at least know that I don't have the final right say.
Yeah, and we're learning every day. It's
every
part
single
of
day.
Life. So you're never complete, You're never complete. Let's play a little game.
Oh my God, let's do this.
All right, we're going to play Would You Rather. So let's come in with that dramatic music. Would you rather never drive a sports car again, or only drive sports cars for the rest of your life?
I would rather never drive a sports car again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Well, yeah, because there's so many times where you're going to need to bring your friends with you and like your family with you and everyone with you. Let's say that there's a fire where you live, like that's where I live.
Yeah.
Would I rather take a sports car or a big car?
I'd
rather take the big car, my friend.
Smart. I like that. Not an answer you would expect,
I
right?
know.
But I like it. I like it. Practical, very practical. Would you rather have everyone stare at you or have no one look at you?
No one look at me.
Nice.
No one look at me at all. I'd rather be invisible.
I like that. Would you rather freeze time or travel in time?
Traveling time. Once you have access to all dimensions of time, then you're able to go anywhere and do whatever you want or see or learn from whatever you're looking at, right?
True.
I'm sorry, I spend a lot of time thinking about that.
Oh, really?
Is that weird?
You're like, the answer came like...
I do, that's so easy.
You knew what I was going to ask
That's so easy.
I love it. Would you rather wrestle a bear or an alligator?
Oh, man. That's a lose-lose. So I think I'm going to lose with the bear on an equal playing field, because at least the bear I can fight on the ground and maybe I can run.
Right.
Even though it can climb trees and run faster than me and just gash me with its claws.
And it's probably bigger.
But the alligator is fast off the ground, like on the ground, and also in the water, which I don't have an advantage to. And it can just destroy me with one bite.
So, bear it is.
I feel like the bear.
I love these questions.
Can I ask you back, which one would you rather fight?
I would choose the bear too.
Right?
Yeah, because the bear would probably seems for me like a like a more
one-to-one competitor.
yeah, like I feel like we're on the same level, like although we're not, but I feel like, you know, I understand the bear has hands, has feet, you know, walks the same way or does similar, you know, movements that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So
Whereas the alligator, you don't know how they're gonna react,
Yeah.
and like maybe their tail can just whip you, and like you didn't even expect
don't
that,
know,
or the claws
exactly.
that they have.
it's so weird, and the skin already, the texture. A bear is at least fluffy. Max outdoes hug him.
Oh, as he's devouring you.
I love you too, buddy. It's okay. I know you had a troubled past childhood. You should go on Oprah.
Oh.
Would you rather be an unknown superhero or a famous villain?
No, an unknown superhero.
Yeah?
Unknown superhero all day. Even though I've been thinking about that lately, and it's like, why would anyone do that when everyone's so awful, right? But an unknown superhero. What about you?
I would
You
honestly
seem to pick the other one.
No, I don't know why I like villains. You always, when you watch these movies, the villains are kind of the most attractive aspect of.
Well, the best villains are villains because they think they're superheroes,
True.
right? Like,
Yeah.
no one thinks they're doing bad. They think, I'm doing what's best. Even in the Hitler example,
Yeah.
you think the guy was thinking, like, I'm doing this for everyone. He was, like, legitimately thought he was the right.
True.
And that's why he got so many followers.
Yeah. You gotta believe it for
Yeah.
others to believe it.
And all you need is to be supporting the wrong thing to become a villain.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be made out
I
of the
don't
same
want to
person.
support the wrong thing, so I'm gonna go with superhero.
There you go.
Would you rather see your own future
Mm-hmm.
or see everyone's future except your own?
I'd rather see everyone's future except mine. Because it'd be too easy.
Yeah.
It'd just be like, I'd be so comfortable in my own feet. And I don't want ever to do that. I always want to be uncomfortable. That's when I am at my best. Whenever I
Yeah.
feel like, oh man, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should take that next step. I don't know if I should be
True.
talking about this right now.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else, who cares? Anyways, it's not going to affect you.
Plus, I think you could kind of make it like gain positive things from it if you want to think about it. Like if you're able to help people around you or your, team or your staff and know their future and be like, listen, I got stuff for you. All right, so make this happen, and this is gonna go.
What you're saying is you're going to blackmail people based on their future.
Listen, it's business, bro. This is all about business, yeah. I got a tough one coming up right now.
Oh
Are you
my
ready?
God. I am ready.
This is a tough one.
I am ready.
Would you rather give up pizza or tacos
Pizza.
forever?
Pizza.
I knew
Pizza. Dude, come on. Come
This
on.
wasn't tough for you.
And especially-
for me, that's tough. Okay, I love tacos and I love pizza.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
No.
Okay, if you eat tacos from Mexico,
I'll-
there's no way you can give up tacos. There's
Oh
no
my
absolute.
God.
I think
But
it's
LA
literally
has
impossible.
some of the best tacos.
No.
No?
Oh my God, that's rookie stuff.
Okay, so you need to take
You
me.
gotta come with me to
All
Mexico
right,
City.
yeah.
The best food in the world, and no one even knows. And it's so cheap, great service.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm like, I want to eat right now.
Now I
want
know. Now I'm
tacos.
thinking about tacos. Great, fantastic.
Would you rather control water or fire?
Oh, that's a that's
a
an
tough one.
interesting one. I think I'd rather control water because you can have the same equal destruction power with water than you'd have with fire. You know, because as long
Yeah.
as you pressurize water, you can destroy anything you want, or even water for years will destroy something. But at the same time, you're bringing water to where it's needed, and you can put out fires. Whereas with the fire, you can't
True.
do anything positive.
Yeah, you can only burn things and keep people warm.
You can.
You're like, here, I burn your house. I burn your McLaren.
Merry
no
Christmas. Here's the fire. Maybe whoever controls the fire is what they did to me. They were trying to save
Probably,
me.
right? Maybe it's that cop. Maybe it's that cop.
Oh man.
That guy is messed up. I'm sorry, dude. If you're watching,
No.
you need to
No,
get
no,
a
no.
life.
We're gonna say really good things about you, sir, because you have a badge and a gun, and I am a Mexican guy. So I love you. Thank you for leaking those pictures. I got a lot of followers from it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
supported
Great
him a
things.
lot.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You
Thank
made him come on Uncut, and
That's
talk
right.
about it.
What
so-
else do we need?
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it.
Would you you rather kiss a cobra or kiss a jellyfish?
A cobra.
Cobra.
Because it can kill you. But if you can master that in your own fear, because I'm terrified of snakes, terrified. But if I can master my own fear and be able to do that, I'd overcome everything. That's
You're
a
terrified
personal
of
one.
snakes?
Dude.
Well, guess what?
No. Don't guess me what anything. You've never seen anyone run away so fast.
We have a snake for you here. Wait. Check under your seat.
No.
One for you.
No.
One for you.
No, I love animals, but I stay away from snakes. But that's what I'm saying. If I could kiss a cobra, then
You could. Okay.
I'd overcome all of my fears.
That's awesome. Well, we need to introduce you to one day. Let's do it. Come on, for a vlog.
Once I'm ready.
Okay. Let me
Yes.
know.
Yes.
You'll do it with me though.
I'll do it with you.
I'm terrified of snakes too.
You too?
Yeah. So I can't even come in close range. If I see them through the glass, I freak out.
Me too.
Yeah, because they're their texture, everything about them, and I don't even know one single I don't know what they're about to do next. I can't predict anything about them.
That's why
That scares me.
When you don't know what an animal can do and what it's thinking and what they're when a dog is about to bite you, you
Exactly.
go,
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, the dog's about to bite me. And if they come wagging their tail, you're like,
Exactly.
all right, this dog's gonna
you
be
can
fine.
predict a little bit of their what they're about to
behavior.
do and their behavior. But
Once
snakes.
I learned this with my squirrel because I have a squirrel.
Okay.
All of us are so different. Like, we think animals are dumb because they don't know how to speak and they don't have an intelligence where they know how to cook breakfast and all of that stuff. But they're so smart in their own way, and they're so telling with their own behavior.
Of course.
We just need to be familiar with. And the thing is, we have all these preconceptions of animals, especially snakes, man. Come on. Even
Yes.
if you're a little religious and there's the Bible, right? Like, the snake is the bad guy. That dude is the devil. But I have some friends that have snakes, and they love them so much, and like
I know.
they're all of their life, and I understand. I respect that completely. I am just not in that space right now where I'm like, let me meet a snake and then let me find out their behavior, because I literally can't do that. And where I live, it's full of snakes.
Oh my God! Are you in the Are you on the hills?
Up in the hills, like in the middle of nowhere, we have rattlesnakes.
Oh my! Tell me about it. I was in the hills as well in LA, my old house, and I mean, we had what do you call them? Mountain lions.
I had mountain lions too.
Yeah, we had snakes. We had everything. Like, we had scorpions.
Yeah.
We had so many things, and I had to have crazy amount of pest control,
Barriers.
alarm systems, barriers, lights that would scare away things. I'm like, why do I need to live on the hills again just because of the view? I mean, I'm going to the flats. I'm
agree.
going to the flats.
I agree with you. I live paranoid all the time. Whenever I take my dogs out, I always go out with them, making sure that there's nothing that's gonna grab them, because we have coyotes too, and they're
Exactly.
You know what
coyotes
I mean?
and
I get offended. I had a coyote once piss outside of my house. I was like, "Get out!" to the coyote, and the coyote just looked at me and took a piss right there and then. And I just I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get out of here!" Just chasing.
this is my house.
I got so offended. I was like, "I'm gonna piss on top of this too."
I love it. You're having a full-out conversation with your coyote.
I'm telling you, dude. Everyone in my world, and this is like the one thing I need to change.
Yeah.
We're all the same. That coyote and I, we're the same, man. So
You're just like, no, this is not happening.
no, I'm gonna piss on this thing too.
Exactly. Would you rather never be able to watch YouTube again, or never watch TV again?
Oh, never watch TV again.
TV, right?
Are you kidding
I think
me?
we're already over that.
Everyone is.
Let's do YouTube or Netflix.
I'd rather not watch Netflix.
Yeah?
Yeah, because YouTube, you get so much. I get so much more out of YouTube. So much more. There's so much new content, and
True.
I like to watch a lot of super hippie stuff. I like to watch a lot of open-minded stuff. I like to watch a lot of planetary stuff. I like to watch
Nice.
a lot of quantum physics, mechanics, all that stuff.
That's cool.
And there's so many new things that come out every day.
Yeah.
Whereas Netflix has nothing
They come out with a documentary every.
They come out with every 70 days, and then they come out with with 70 products every single month. But out of those 70, only one will be right for you or two.
Yeah.
Whereas on YouTube, I literally find something useful every single day.
100%.
Right?
I agree. I think YouTube is that platform that honestly was created for like us. That's TV is a little old school.
This is the human connection, like the for real. Like
yes.
you want to talk about something, there's people that are willing to listen.
Right.
Because I think people are saying that we're more and more disconnected every single day. I think it's the opposite.
It's the
We're
opposite.
more and more connected. Just we're realizing how different we are with the people that we grew up with.
Yes, we lose certain things. I do believe that we lost certain elements and certain touches that were nice from years ago.
Like being able to talk to people without them pulling out their cell phone and just not paying any attention to you. That's one.
That's definitely one. And certainly like being able to enjoy moments for what they are.
Instead of
always, that's the stuff that unfortunately has changed.
Yeah.
But of course, nothing just comes with pros and nothing just comes with cons. So it's something, it balances out. We are in a world though where we have a freedom and we're super connected and we can video call and feel like we're home when we're not, which is incredible. And for me personally, a life changer, because a lot of my family and I travel a lot and I'm a family person, so for me it's like I need to be close to them,
I
so
agree.
it's stuff like that where I really appreciate this technology. What can we expect next from
me?
Yes.
I mean, if you were looking at the online world and just talking about my channels, I want to say the new show that I'm putting together right now.
Super
I
exciting.
think that and just jumping back into this whole thing, just getting rid of that negativity and that weight that I had on my shoulders that I don't want to have anymore. Just go out there, enjoy myself, find myself another time, like the rhythm where I was creating before. That's what you can expect. That a lot of fun and new shows with new points of view that and a new perspective to things that no one has ever touched on.
Totally, which is super cool.
I think that's what you can expect. Will you get it? I don't know, but
no, that's super exciting. Can't wait. And honestly, before I let you go, I'm gonna ask you this last question.
Hit me.
What is something you would change if you could go back in time and change? The one thing that you would say, I wish I never did that.
Man,
and not saying that you live life in regrets and blah, 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 because I know a lot of people will say, oh, I don't have any regrets. I don't want to change anything. But I always feel like there's that one thing that you probably would have wished that you could have done different.
I think it's rather simple. So to be clear, I'd rather have that happen to me so that I can evolve and become a bigger person. But if I could just avoid the pain from it, I'd never in my life be friends with the people that I was friends with before that try to take away everything from me.
Right.
That's what I would change completely. Because the weight that's had on my shoulders, it's been like a whole earth of just, and no one, and again, and just having everyone tell you like, oh, you should go back to doing that. Like, because again, it's just, we're entertainment to those people.
Yeah,
we're not human beings to those people, which I understand. That's been awful, awful, awful. And I would absolutely eliminate it because it's been the worst thing ever. But now I promise you, I'm completely done with it. No animosity towards anyone. I don't care about anything like that anymore. And I'm just gonna open my doors, but based on what you said, I'm gonna analyze. I'm gonna analyze whoever's coming up to me and say, how can we both have this relationship, just like the way I see my wife and I?
100%.
How can we both complement each other and grow together, rather than let me help you out?
Exactly.
No more of that.
No more charity, buddy.
No more
charity.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you. Are you kidding?
It was amazing. And I can't wait to
advice.
have you. Oh my God. Thank you for teaching us so much. Like, just listening to you is super inspiring. And I hope you come back on the show, because there's still a lot
I would love to.
I didn't touch on and I want to touch on. So I hopefully when you're back, or if I'm in LA, we'll catch up again.
Let's do it soon, right after I come out with the new shows, and because I'd love to see from someone that enjoys some car content and all that good stuff, see what you think and the opinion is, and if we did what we were supposed to do.
We'll do it. Done.
Thank
you
you
so much, guys. If you are listening to the audio version, make sure you come on YouTube. and watch the visuals and check it out. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll hopefully be back with another episode.
Yes,
soon.
sir.
See
Thank
ya.
you, guys. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Aswan.
Thank you, brother.